Hello, my name is Jesse Bradley. I'm a former professional soccer player, and I want to share my story with you and also one habit that I've learned to cultivate. It's changed my life, and it's called the power of the second thought. In terms of my soccer career on the field, in high school we won state championships. We had success as a team, great culture, great coach. We won the Ivy League title twice at Dartmouth, made it to the NCAA Division I Elite Eight in our best season. And then I played professionally overseas. I was in Scotland, also Zimbabwe, loved playing. And since I was 2 years old, that was my dream, to play professional sports. The dream was realized, and then the dream was shattered and crushed because in Africa, I took a medication that was prescribed to prevent malaria, and it built up toxic levels in my system. I was fighting for my life for 1 year, and it took 10 years to fully recover. It was brutal. It tested me to the core, and I had to learn some new ways to overcome, to be resilient. I needed some new tools, and I needed a roadmap for hope. Here's the power of the second thought. Every day we have thousands of first thoughts, and it's important to recognize those first thoughts. Most of them are actually not helpful. That's what the National Science Foundation says. It's good to think about what you're thinking about because the real estate between your ears is so valuable. And just like I was a soccer goalkeeper on the pitch, not letting the ball hit the back of the net, those first thoughts that come in, you need to reject those. They're hope thieves. They want to come in and steal your hope. They want to do some damage. You wouldn't let a thief show up in your house and say, sit down on the couch, make yourself comfortable. Let me prepare a meal for you. Why don't you stay for the night? You would say, not in my house. Well, in the same way, goalkeeper mode, I was not going to let those first thoughts come in, harbor, believe, or entertain those first thoughts, but reject those thoughts and replace it with an intentional second thought. And here's why it mattered so much for me. In my recovery, in this restoration over those 10 years, the battle is the mind game. And yes, it was true. On the field, I did apply it because I remember in high school, my junior year, the championship game, I was terrified. I was scared. And then my senior year, I had that second thought, I'm not going to play scared. And we won in a shootout. I remember in college, I'd make a mistake, and that's brutal for a goalkeeper because you usually lose the game in soccer. There's not a lot of scoring. And my coach would tell me, you can't keep replaying those old tapes of the mistake. But instead, you've got to make a decision that you want the ball again. You want that exact same situation. And it was a shift. Those shifts are so important. And when you reject that first thought, you make that intentional shift with your thinking on a second thought. Perfect love drives out fear. That's going to be my intentional second thought. You choose one that means a lot to you. And as you shift in your thinking, a lot of things are going to change in your life. I'll be honest that throughout sports and also academically, I had a performance-based identity. What does that mean? It's a cruel roller coaster ride from inflated to deflated, pride and shame. And you boil it all down, who you are is not what you do. And it was freeing for me to shift my identity, drop it like an anchor, instead of performance, in God and God's love, a security that I never had before. And I want to share with you my faith journey as well, because I didn't grow up believing in God. I went to Dartmouth College. I say for all of us, there's two stories. There's the outside story and the inside story. And I came from a family, kind of like Baskin-Robbins, 31 flavors spiritually. And at Dartmouth, I took an introduction to religion class. And the outside of my life looks successful, but the inside story is the real story. People get a glimpse of the outside of your life. They know a little bit about you. They see you on social media. But you know the inside story. And I had an emptiness there. I just couldn't figure out, with all the things that were happening and going so well, why did it feel like something was missing? So I read the Bible for the first time. I really kicked the tires. I had dozens of questions in this class. And I wanted to learn, is the Bible reliable? Is Jesus who he says he is? Is the resurrection real? And I looked at the historical evidence with my mind. But with my heart, this is a relationship. You can't earn God's love. It's grace and undeserved gift. And it's a relationship where I said, no thank you, kind of like the Heisman, no thank you for a year. But then what happened? My heart changed. And I said yes to Jesus. And I put my trust in him. And this joy that came in my life, it's like that thirst that was there was finally satisfied. And out of that relationship with God, that has been a key, because when the storm comes, your house is like a house on the rock or the sand. And my life was falling apart in many ways. And people didn't even know. But when I came to know Jesus, there was hope. Now here's hope. Hope is a confident and joyful trust in someone or something. And hope is relational. Hope is also habitual. There's habits you can cultivate. And there's an indestructible hope that's greater than our challenges. When I overcame that tragedy and what happened in Africa, I discovered hope because I didn't find hope until I lost it. And this hope, he's the God of all hope. In this relationship, he brings a hope that no one can take away. And then also, God empowers us to cultivate that hope. And the power of the second thought is something you can do every single day. If you feel like you're really frustrated with your kids, you can have a second thought. I love my kids. They're a gift. Every single child is a gift. If you are having a tough day, then you remember, today is a gift. Life is a gift. It's an intentional second thought. And here's the 4 stages with any habit. I'll talk it in terms of goalkeeping. Before I was a goalkeeper, I didn't even know you catch with a W. That's the first stage, is just to learn the new habit. What is it? And then as you learn it, you try to do it. I tried to catch the ball with a W, and it just didn't work. I would catch the ball, and my hands would look like this on top of the ball, and there was no W. That's the second stage. You try it, because now you know what it is, but it's not going smoothly. The third stage is that you can do it, but you have to focus on it. During the game, I'd be like, W, 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 and I'd catch that ball with a W. And then the fourth stage, it's natural. You don't even think about it. Now I dive to the upper corner, catch the ball with a W, wasn't even thinking about a W. Those 4 stages, because every habit takes time, consistency. You got to be patient with yourself. In those 4 steps in the process of really learning a new habit so it becomes natural, it's going to take some perseverance. And it's a reminder that you're going to keep growing as you do it. How does that relate to the power of the second thought? That habit right there. First, you didn't even know that you could be doing that during the day. Then you're going to learn it, but it's not going to come natural. You're going to struggle with it. And then you're really going to focus on it, and you're going to replace those thoughts. And finally, you're going to do it during the day, and it's going to be so natural. You're going to have a thought that's impure, and you're going to go pure. You're going to have a thought that's selfish, and you're going to go selfless. You're going to have a thought that's anxiety, and you're going to go peace. The power of the second thought. Renewing the mind. And this is something you can cultivate every single day. It was helpful for me as a goalkeeper, but it's so much more helpful when life gets really hard. Talking about resilient, that's habits that lead to hope, reject the hope thieves, have a secure identity, and ultimately know that you are loved. You are loved by God. You are loved by the people around you. Don't get stuck in the performance trap. Start to exercise the power of the second thought. And it'll be incredible because when your mind is in the right place, it flows into every aspect of your life. It became a passion for me. I wrote the book, The Power of the Second Thought, powerthought.org if you want to check it out. But most of all, I just want to encourage you today in your story, in your journey. Let's be lifelong learners. Let's be intentional with our thinking. And we don't have to stay in a ditch mentally. We can have resilience through the power of the second thought. Be intentional. Choose that second thought. Start to practice that habit, and it's going to become natural for you.